Hi, today we're going to be talking about the hemline index. I know I already made a video about like recession pop, and this does involve recession talk. I kind of wish I would have incorporated this into that video, but I guess that was a video on its own. But yes, I feel kind of weird making all these like recession videos, but I mean they are relevant right now. To get started, if you don't know what the hemline index, simply it's just hemlines being affected by the state of the economy. And this goes back to 1926. George Taylor, who is an economist, proposed a theory that the sale of women's hosiery can be used to track the state of the economy. I'm not going to say hosiery because this isn't 1926. I'm just going to say hose. Well, okay, I guess hosiery does matter. Okay, but anyway, to put it in simple terms, obviously back in the day, women would wear, they're classy back in the day, I guess. They weren't wearing just like, jeans like that. I mean, yeah, no, not at this time. They probably weren't wearing jeans. Actually, don't take my word for it, but you know what I mean. They were wearing hose or hosiery, whatever you want to call it. And you know that people typically wore hose, or women typically wore hose when wearing a skirt or a dress, just something that showed off part of their leg. And if the economy was doing well, the women were buying the hose frequently. If not, they didn't have the luxury to spend that money on hose. Not strippers, but little tights that you wear under your skirt. But yes, they just stayed a bit more modest when they didn't have the leisure to spend on hose, because obviously hose like rips really fast, or at least in my case it does. So it was just a simple solution to wear longer pants or longer skirt that didn't necessarily show off their legs. This is how the hemline index started. However, I've heard, I'm gonna link or put the video right here that you should watch, very much goes into depth about this if you want to know more about the hemline index. And I took inspiration from this video, and they just go more into like the history side of everything. And if you don't want them to say hose, and I don't know, but anyway, I learned from this video that actually it's the opposite when it comes to men. So women will have longer skirts when the economy's doing bad, but men will wear shorter hemlines when the economy's doing bad. So people say like men started wearing, not started, but like it was pretty popular amongst the last couple of years, since I'd say at least like 2020, maybe 2019, for men to wear like shorts on the red carpet. I don't know if anyone's noticed that, but I kind of did, because it's definitely a look. However, when it comes to the hemline index, a lot of people disagree with it. It's not necessarily like a proven theory, but a lot of people do think it's very relevant. I go back and forth. I think it's really cool, and I do think it's something that's sort of true, but I definitely don't think it's as true as it was maybe back in the day, or as relevant, obviously, like with the hose thing. But I mean, it definitely is true. Like when there's a recession, there's like items of luxury or just entertainment, or there's things that you're gonna buy, or things you're just gonna you're gonna compromise for something cheaper, or just go without it, just go cold turkey and not purchase it. The video that I mentioned earlier talks about like eras where the fashion went hand in hand with the hemline index. I'm only gonna name two. Obviously the Roaring 20s, you know what that is. I guess maybe I should explain a little bit, but the economy was doing really well. Just kind of think of like Great Gatsby. That was during the Roaring 20s. Wealth more than doubled, and that's like the flapper kind of thing, like short dresses. I mean, I guess when people wear like flapper stuff now, it's pretty short, but it was like mid-calf, or like kind of like a midi skirt. It was that kind of thing. Then obviously, what comes next, or maybe you don't. 1929, the Great Depression. Obviously, I feel like most people learned about the Great Depression. It was not a good time at all. But yeah, no, obviously in this time, people weren't gonna go buy hose. Like they didn't even know if they were gonna eat. They were losing jobs. There was like literally, when I was looking up like fashion around this time, people were wearing like dresses that were like literally right at the ankle. I mean, people still wear dresses like that nowadays, but it was just like huge back then. And just to speak more about like, is this theory even true, or should we believe this theory? I feel like I said, I go back and forth, but looking at trends recently, or just like the last couple years when the economy has been just like a huge topic of conversation, there's just like a bunch of juxtaposition. During COVID, Y2K was huge. And like, you know, that one sound, like skirts should be the size of a belt. Then there's like the Paris Hilton fashion, just very, very much mini skirt. Also around that time, or even now, the Danielle Guzio little mini skirt was super popular. I never got one, but every time I saw someone wearing one, I was like, oh, that was cute. But the more I paid attention to it, it seemed like a really, really short skirt. I don't know. Also, like little Y2K mini dresses were popular. And like the 13 going on 30 kind of like little mini dress. I saw a lot of those. But then again, there was also a lot of long hemlines, like realization part. They're like long sleeve like dresses. It kind of goes to the floor, like I was saying with the 1929 Great Depression. That's still something we wear nowadays. Like also the long like indie fairy core skirts from like Brandy Melville. Also jorts becoming so popular with like the last 2 years. That's a long hemline. So there's so many like short skirts, tiny like micro short. That's popular right now, micro shorts. There's also, like I said, so many long skirts. So I'm kind of curious as to what everybody else thinks about this. Like I said, a lot of people just don't care about the hemline index, or just don't care to believe it's true. I definitely think it's an interesting thing. Like when I very first learned about this, I was like, whoa, like that's super cool. Because I mean, I incorporated like the economy with fashion, so like that's gonna get me to learn something about the economy. But yeah, I would just, you know, anything I missed or anything you want to comment that you think is relevant to the video, I'd love to hear.